My name is Helen, my partner over here.
I'm Marissa.
And I'm Leah.
And we're going to do a little work around what are our options if we don't want to do a whole ass reduction. Right? And the first thing we're going to do is going to meet and greet. So what's going to happen is we're going to stand up. You're going to go to somebody, you're going to put out their hand or their elbow if you're feeling like, let's be safe. Hello. And you're going to say, hi, my name is Helen.
Hi, my name is Becca.
And the last event production thing that I put together was
The Spring Art Showcase.
congratulations. And I'll be like, the last event show thing that I did, which I didn't have to put together because the teacher I'm observing did, was Willy Wonka and the chocolate pack with everybody. And then you're going to move and you're going to find somebody else and you're going to go, the same thing. You get that? That's right. All right? And you two get involved there because you guys are doing the work too. Everybody's a little attitude. Can anybody explain to our latecomer what we're doing?
We're just walking around saying, hello, I need is, and the last production I was part of putting together was.
That's it. And then go to the next person. All right, 1, 2. Go. Okay.
Last year since I was a part of was my school getting also 1 million for the school club.
We'll chat. Last year, so we signed the email, we just go to the message.
Leah.
The last show, we just did our spring production, which was original show, Twisted Tales. Did the kids write? All my classes got to make their own version.
School. Spring is a lot for nurse showcase. Like a lot of all of them. I drama. I'm not. It was great. But
We already met.
My classes to all I'm D75 for the high school.
yeah, I know for all the fun, band, and drama.
Wow.
So everyone was part of the recital.
Wow. Intense. Yeah.
And pause.
One more time. And pause. And the last time. And pause. And if anybody's had the misfortune of doing a session with me, they know that phrase. If you use that phrase in your class, can you explain why you use it?
Because the kids will then stop, but they know that they're not being cut off. We're taking a pause in what we're doing right now.
Did anybody else notice that that some people stopped right away and some people continued? Because it's that idea of like, I still have something to say. And if I still have something to say, I'm going to be thinking about all the brilliant things I was going to say, and I can't say them now. And then you're going to be talking, and I'll be like, I don't know. So letting it flow to a stop. Yeah, makes sense. And the physical gesture, because not everybody responds to words. Yeah. Congratulations on all the work that you did this year. Right there. Okay, so it was great to hear that. Go partner over, and we're going to do a little makeup. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, you've just messed up the math? I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You and I are being part of it. Come on, let me teach us.
All right. So we're going to, if you could just find your way into groups of 3 and identify person A, person B, and person C. So get into your groups first. Groups of 3. I'm going to jump into in here. Do you want to go over there? We need one more.
I'll join your 3.
One. Hello. Does everyone have 3?
Drama teachers, not.
Yes, we cannot. You cannot count.
Here we go. Get out of the way.
Great. Okay, so everybody has an ABC in their group, right? ABC. Doesn't really matter. All right, so we're calling this like our micro labs, just a chance to like get some of like our thoughts, our frustrations, our ideas out. So we have a couple of questions that we're going to ask you, and in your groups, you will take turns answering the question. Just 20 seconds each. So I'll tell you when to switch. And then, so for the first question, we'll go in ABC order of answering in those 20 seconds. The next question, BCA order. And then the third, CAB. I think that's letters, alphabet, whatever. And then we will have one open-ended question at the end. So let me get my phone so I can keep us on a 20-second mark. So I will ask the question, and then person A answer first. I'll let you know when 20 seconds is up. Go to person B, go to person C. Does that make sense? Fabulous. Okay, so our first question is, what was successful about your last event or production? Successful about your last event or production. Person A, go for it.
First grade musical called Summer Camp. It was a pretty process in and of itself was pretty rough, giving me the into it and kind of realizing that it was an actual thing. But once we performed, it was really very impactful to them. And when it was over, they were just like, "What do I do now?" Because
So the last thing I did was a song on Halloween. The kids loved it, and they were all given an opportunity to create part of the movements themselves, and they all had to create a character, and they had to be that character throughout the whole thing. So they were given a lot of flexibility, like if you're getting the character.
Also, student engagement, like a 90%. But the kids had like such a great.
Using the full scope of my staff to be able to like make this happen. Because otherwise, like, the kids wouldn't be able to have the experience.
And pause. Sorry, let me go back to Helen's music thing. So a lot of this conversation will continue as we go throughout the session. We're just trying to get your brains thinking about the places that we're going. So for our next prompt, person B will start, and then go to C and then A. Our next question is, what was challenging about your last event or production? So person B, hit it.
Well, 136 pages long, and there are like 25 songs in it, so it was just a really like long, complicated rehearsal process with just like so much material to learn, and it could get a little like overwhelming.
Switching to person C.
Yeah, I think structural organization. I'm a stage manager by trade, so like all the props, the pieces, trying to undermine this is mine. I can work it when I wanted everybody to work and not have ownership, but not own the item that they were using. Does that make sense? So then I got that's my puppet.
Yeah. Person A.
I think for me, it's similar to this. And similar to the success, which is just having sort of teachers understand like what is their role in helping put the production. Like where do you need to be 100%, and where do you not need to worry as and understanding that for myself, I think as well as them was always a challenge.
Yes. Yes, that's great. All right. Next question. We'll start with person C. Then going to A and B. What were the takeaways of this last production? What were the takeaways for your administration, students, parents, self, whoever you want to identify in that question? What were the takeaways for your admin, students, parents, and self? Person C, go for it.
Takeaways. Kids love the applause. They love to be on stage and have people cheering them on. They love to cheer on each other. My admin were talking all about scale. Next year, we want 3 days of performances. where we have other schools come for the first 2 days and then parents for the
In my school, the takeaways and feedback were great. My admin was extremely supportive. The kids' performances were successful. Everyone knew their lines, everyone knew their songs, and we had a lot of positive feedback, and the kids all fast. It was really, really.
Biggest concern was for me, and see, this show was something different, and
It was a good moment to like, oh,
in a school like most schools, to change things is really hard.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the thing they know.
So they're just not there.
Yeah.
And they won't tell me why. And so,
Not even looking at the play and like just doing ensemble building in the way the work, which made me nervous because it was such a big day and I was like, how did they do that?
Yeah,
but
just
seeing
admin teachers were like, wow, our kids have so many pieces. Great. I know that there's so much to say, so just going to end with like an open question. So anybody can take this in your group. Everybody can chime in. Why do we do performances and who do they serve? All right, take that and run. I'll give you some time frames, but just open question, whoever wants to answer.
I'll say off of that, I think that my experience is that the classroom or the rehearsal space, whatever, feels different when we have a product that's shared that we're moving towards. And I think production is the sort of the ultimate product that we imagine or that we think of when we think about theater. But I think like if you just say, hey, we're just messing around playing games, that's such a different feeling than like we're gonna put on such and such a show. And we're gonna do by Muso. And I think having a product is really powerful.
I've been doing it like 3 days. It's like,
Yes,
but
I have the
also,
resource. Yeah. There's just no other.
I have fun ways to do the instrumental. I've had to. But if it's a sensory overload,
It's being it's just being
So often happens. It's those kids who are, like the quietest kid in the ensemble got it, flaws just like the most commanding lead. And it's always balancing a process. This is a challenge, and trying to give them something they can take with them. Graduating fifth graders will be part of this.
Take about one more minute together.
When you go to the next level there, take what you got here. So always trying to make sure we're giving them a toolbox they can bring with them. And just those little funny moments and those touching moments that you'll never forget. One thing I do with the kids is they were young and there's
they always tie it to graduation. It doesn't have to be. Like, it can be different things. Well, like, Danny's so much holiday at graduation time. Like, I mean, it was part of graduation. And I think, like, I don't know that people wanted to sit through.
Take about 20 more seconds. This is very dramatic.
And to parents, and so that it was more about
we don't fit into that, where they can shine. And if like that height, you're making everybody laugh. That's what an amazing opportunity to you shine.
what a glorious experience. And then they have to win.
10. Wrap up your conversation and pause.
All together. And pause.
4-4.
Great.
Thank your partners. Thank you. And how about we gather in our circle of theater conversation? Circle of theater conversation.
Have you seen that?
Seated circle of the lack of clarification by the leadership here. I apologize.
I don't mind if we share somebody.
I can grab another one. I think we're good.
Sure we need.
Oh, ow. No.
Careful.
I'm fine. We're good.
That's a not.
I don't get those. I don't either. You got even it? Great. How's that? Did it break your power dynamic? Sit there.
Yeah.
Hi, y'all. Hi. So we just wanted to frame it a little bit about why. We did this session. My fault. So I have been a teaching artist for 30 years, so I don't have to do what DOE teachers have to do. I just want to frame that. I get to go in and I step out. Doesn't mean we haven't done sharings or presentations. But it's been interesting over the last few years. I've also worked with the Arthur Miller Foundation and mentored first, second, and third year teachers. And my mind is blown by how much pressure they have and how different it is across the schools to do a full show, with everybody. Everybody. And when I was a teaching artist, had to do after school, and they were like, do the holiday show, right? Do the spring. And I was like, I don't want to, because what I saw was a lot of after school folks yelling at kids to get it right, to get loud, because they didn't have a theater background. And I thought, that is so much not what I'm interested in doing theater for. And I resisted. And so I'm also blown away by what classroom teachers do. It just is extraordinary, the theater that they create. But I also know it can put you in the hospital. And we laugh, but we're like, oh, yeah. We know that that's accurate. And I was like, I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with that anymore. And there's a process of thinking through, what if the play is not the thing? What are our options? And how do we bring that to our admin to think about, why do we do theater with young people? Like, really thinking, like, I'm not devaluing, because I loved people's, like, why we do productions and the purpose of that. But self-care, care of our young people, and really making sure that we understand why we're doing it and when, and that we are allowed to say that why, that it's not a mystery. Not like, let's do a show, and everybody goes, great job, and they don't have an idea of what it took to put that show. And I want to be able to say that without complaining, right? I don't want to be like, I don't know how many hours. No, right, we are allowed to say, that doesn't work for us this year. Different than no. So that was inspired this, and thank goodness I got then to partner with Marissa, and Elio was going to be here and was going to do a little English language learner stuff, and then oddly enough the schedule changed. So from my take in terms of a general ed population, early grades specific up to 4th and 5th grade, I was like, what are our options? What else could we do that is productive case, but maybe stresses or unstresses up a little bit more?
Can I share something?
No. Yes.
Sorry. No, I was like the queen of huge productions and had producers in and won all these awards. And the administration changed to my school. And this year we had only a Halloween presentation. Like, I had no production. And I felt sad because some of the kids want to do it. But what you're talking about, I've been forced to have to figure out ways to do it. So we've been doing everything from making masks and learning puppetry, and I have a playwriting workshop going on with someone, and I had D75 with the kids because we had done the Matilda thing a few years ago. So I have very mixed emotions about it because I loved it. And I was near hospitalization at the end of the shows most of the day, but I loved it. And so I'm like saying to the administration, can we just like find places in the year to maybe not do everybody, but to feature certain classes doing something that the other classes can see so they understand the process of theater. Yeah. But it's not all just one huge thing.
Were you in our planning session?
Because everything you said is.
I'm sorry. No. But that's exactly. And I think we all have different possibilities. And just to arc it, because Marissa's going to put a little D75 in, we're going to do a couple little things and then focus on how we might set that up as a presentation, and then an opportunity to brainstorm like what those things might be. What are those other options, right? So I know your brains are sparking with like, ooh, this. But yes, exactly that.
Yeah.
So from the D75.
Yeah. So I teach at a District 75 high school, alternately assessed students ages 14 to 22 with severe to profound disabilities, and a lot of like as the D75 theater teacher community grows, like we're seeing like all of these different models at District 75 schools of like what we're doing with shows. And at a lot of District 75 schools, it's like every student must be in the show. And with that population, it is like beyond stressful, impossible, challenging, staff, paras, like everything. So when I came into my school, we were on like a 3 show a year model plus talent shows at the end of the year, and I knew like right away, like this is not working. This will not work. And truly my second year, like our heritage show in February, like the Black History Month kind of thing, like almost took us all out. And last year, we had a colleague on our team who just completely missed both shows because of like the fatigue and stress and etc. So one thing that like I shared when we were like planning this, we had the heritage show was on the calendar, and I was like, we cannot do this again. We cannot prepare a show in 6 weeks that is up to a standard and then end that show and then jump right into rehearsals for the next one. What are we doing to our students? And also, I am lucky in the sense that at my school, there is not pressure to put every student in the show. So I do not put every student in our building in the show. So I was also seeing like we're putting a lot of the same students in the show. So if we're just doing like 3 shows a year, like what is that? Like why? So I went to, as a team, we went to our administration, said, okay, we do the heritage show. It's kind of the same kids that are always in shows. It's what is the goal of the show? Okay, the goal of the show is to expose students to different cultures and things like that. And so explore that through the music, the art, the theater. So we were like, instead of doing a show, because there's such pressure around the word show, right? It is come and be seated and clap and like do all the things. So instead of a show, can we do a heritage experience, which is like a 2-day hands-on activity for the whole school? Was it still a lot of planning? Yeah, but in a weird way, it felt like not the same pressure of the show. We weren't making playbills. We were like all of those other things, seating charts. So we did like a 2-day event where all of the performing arts teachers had like a different focus, different activity. We paired up to make it a little bit easier. We also had some teaching artists come in, and every class in the building just rotated. They did Peking opera, music exploration and mask making, and then they went into the gym and they did West African drumming, and then they saw a presentation from a Chinese dance company, and we did different things. Every student in the building was involved, every student hands-on participation, and in a way we found that was so much more effective than putting all of us through the process of doing a show. It wasn't about the final product, it was about the process. So I just share that as like a way that we took that 3rd show and we were like, we cannot do this. And then shockingly this year, nobody mentioned the heritage show. And the heritage show really was like a staple of our school. Nobody mentioned it this year. Even the kids kind of like forgot about it. And we decided to do the heritage experience on a every other year model. So we didn't do it this year. We're planning to do it next year. So I just, coming from that, because I was really thinking about what are we putting our students through, and this constant and in District 75 it's like, are we just making, I mean it's with all students, but I'm very conscious of like, are we just making our students get up there and perform and do things? Maybe they don't want to do that. So, and they can't always show us or tell us that they don't want to be on stage again. So that's kind of where I'm coming from.
So needless to say, there was a lot of interesting conversation amongst the group planning this, and what we came up with is, what is a sharing, and how can we frame them in a way that helps our audience, whether or not it's our admin, our fellow teachers, who are like, oh, you do theater, or the parents, right, to help them understand what we do. And to that end, what we would like to do, and we're going to break it up, we're going to teach a little game, skill building. So it's thinking about, what are we doing theater for? We're doing theater to build skills. So Marissa's going to share something. We're going to take then a pause. Then I'm just going to do a still picture activity with the idea that that's going to be the performance, right? That's going to be the sharing. And then we're going to take a couple of minutes for each of those activities to set them up as if they were a performance. Like, what would we do? How would we frame it? What would we say? And then at the end, we'll have a little brainstorming, but we'll also have an opportunity to think about how might we bring this to our admins. Yeah, to say, punch things up. Game? How y'all doing, okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Again, I'm just going to reintroduce myself. I'm Helen. This is
Marissa.
And over here is
Leah.
excellent. And then you all are brilliant. Want to teach us a game?
Yes. All right. If everybody could stand up. So we're all theater people. I am just going to show you how I would teach Zip Zap Zop in my class. And I know that most of us have probably been playing Zip Zap Zop since before we can even remember. I like to do this with my classes, and knowing that on day one of teaching this, we are not there. We are not ready to play the Zip Zap Zop that we all know and love, or don't love. So I'm just gonna kind of demo for you like how, like, of course in my classroom, like this might actually take us like 10 weeks of getting through the game. It might actually take me 10 weeks to teach Zip Zap Zop. So I'm actually just gonna show you like some different layers of how I would teach it and the skill building that comes with it. Before I do anything, just like as theater educators, what skills do you think a game like Zip Zap Zop would reinforce to our young people?
Focus.
Absolutely.
Listening.
Yep.
Connection.
Yeah, that's really why I'm doing it. And then how I would first teach it to my students. And I actually will play this often with my 6 to 1-to-1 classes. Six students, at least one teacher, at least one paraprofessional. Most of them are nonverbal communicators, maybe using a speech device, but I will play it with them. And actually that's my favorite group to do it with. So the first way that I would do Zip Zap Zop is I would say that for right now, I am the queen of Zip Zap Zop, and I will be the one to be saying Zip Zap Zop. So your task will just be when we're listening for a cue. So when you hear the word Zop, you will pass the ball to the partner next to you. You don't have to say anything. You just have to listen for that magic cue word, which is Zop. And when you hear Zop, you just safely pass the ball to your next partner. So Zip Zap Zop. Zip Zap Zop. Zip, zap, 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 zop. Good. Obviously, we can do that very quickly. The next way I would add on.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
What do you do when they start throwing the ball at each other and around the room and all
Yeah,
that?
absolutely happens. Let's try again.
Okay.
Let's just do it again. And honestly, that might be 15 minutes. That it might not be successful that day. We just try it again the next day. Yeah, and that happens all the time. Maybe, yeah.
Would you do that with like a large group of kids, like 30 kids? 20?
Personally, in District 75, I never have more than 12 at a time. So, but I think you could.
Okay.
I think you could do it with 30. It might be a good
And
way.
think about modeling the first section of it, then splitting the group into 3.
That's true.
And also sitting their butts down. And picking somebody to be the king or queen, right? So those modifications. Yeah, great question.
My next thing, maybe this is like a week 3 of us playing this game. Now I've added in a different prop. And in addition to passing, I would like you to do an action when you hear Zop. So you will pass, but before you pass, zip, zap, zop, and then pass. So zip, zap, zop, 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 and zip, zap, zop. Great. For some of my classes, that might be where I stop the game, and that's how we will play it for the whole rest of the year. And to be honest, I don't do it every day. With some of my groups, I may go on. So just in the interest of like this activity, now we're going to introduce a new level of the game. You can join me now in saying zip, zap, zop, but we're each going to get a turn to say it. Zip, to zap to zop. So just breaking it down now one at a time. When I'm doing this, I have visuals on the board. I have visuals in front of them. So we're just going to pass our word to our partner. One word. So it'll be zip, zap, zop. Zip, zap.
Zap. Zip. Zap.
Zap.
Zip, zap, zop. Perfect. That would be one way. A big thing that we work on in the District 75 environment is choice making. Do you want this or this? Do you think the character should say this or that? That's a lot of just like a simple, like this or that, 2 answers. So the next way that I would do this is when you receive the zip, zap, or stop, you have a choice if you want to go to your right or your left. So you, as the actor, gets to make the choice. Do you want to keep it going in that same direction, or would you like to switch it up? Zip, zap, zop, zip, zap, zop, zip, zap, zop, zip, zap, zop. I'm going to pause that there just in the interest of time. I think you get the idea. Then, ultimately, if we get there, maybe we get there, my next one would be, I guess, what we would all call traditional zip, zap, zop. With my 12 to 1-to-1 class this year, we got to this point. We will add names onto the top of it. So when I'm playing this with my students, I would say, Elise, zip. And then if Elise is passing it across, she would say, Lynn, zap, for that extra reinforcement of who we're sending it to. Because I've noticed, eye contact, not always happening. A clear, direct movement, not always happening. Full focus, not always happening. So just like that extra reinforcement helps a little bit. And then these skills that we're working towards are kind of being reinforced in another way. So let's just do a couple seconds of
And I'm just going to highlight the connection back to the skills that we had at the very beginning, reminding ourselves that we do games not just to have fun, but to build specific skills. And often people from the outside just see a game.
So, zip,
Zap.
Zap.
Zip.
zap, zop,
Zip. Zap.
zop,
Zip.
zap.
Zap.
Perfect. And since it's me, we could probably play this all day. We'd be totally fine. So I know I sped through that. It's taking weeks in my classroom, but what I hope you're seeing is different ways. Now, I will take these same principles. I would apply them to almost any other game. What can you add in? And for me, it's been thinking about what is the goal of the game and then seeing how I can modify the game from there. So we'll talk more about what happened here in a moment.
Sweet. So the whole idea is wherever you get with this would be then eventually you would use that game to model and present it to an outside audience, whether or not it's your next door neighbor class, parents, admin, or whatever. Yeah? That's it. That's it. Yeah, the game's the thing.
Yeah.
I have a teacher who are talking about the arc being of the year. Theater, where we at? So the first 8 weeks, where we at? We've built community. Let's show that off. Where we at? We're explored set. Cost. Oh, where we at? We're doing play. Just thinking about that. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to zip through, and not zap.
Not zap.
Through. I am so funny. No, it's a pissy. I'm going to invite us to split in half. We're going to do a quick still picture activity. So let's just divide into half. Find somebody that you haven't worked with, and we're going to make 2 groups. And y'all can be part of it as you see fit.
Yeah. I'll do it.
Split in half. Good.
Okay, and come over here. Be over in the corner away from those. They got cooties.
Okay.
So the frame for me for this would be that I might share with the young people or not. This would be like 2nd, 1st, 3rd, 4th grade. Is that we're building our skills to get to full plays. The first skill is understanding a story has a beginning, middle, and end. The next is that it has a physical manifestation. The next it might have a sound manifestation. And then the next it might have a word or emotion manifestation. And then eventually it might have full out sentences with acting happening. Like there's a scaffolding of I see too many bad acting because there are too many words and we haven't concretized that. So we're going to work on building those theater skills amongst ourselves and then share them out with our audience. So don't tell anybody what this is. Share with them. Don't tell us what it is. Share with them. So I've given you the title of something. In your group, just take 1 minute to share amongst yourself so everybody knows the outline of this story. Just make sure it's because there's so many variations. Just make sure that you all know what the story is about.
There's a girl. And she wanders upon a house. Yeah. And what belongs to bears, they're gone.
Yeah.
If they love food in the church, she goes, she's hungry. She tries from who's first? Mama Cruz. Papa Cruz to her. To last people.
Just right.
Mama says to the air to and goes just right. Then she goes to lie down.
No, no, she was to the chairs.
She sits in the chairs. She has off to her stuff. Just right. And
Same thing with beds. To her, too sorry.
just right.
I falls asleep, and the bears come back, and
Why are you in our home?
and she takes off.
And why did you eat all of our stuff and break our hips?
Yeah, right. So they make me more clothes. She doesn't go back.
Super.
I forget parts of this. Yeah.
We're gonna get there. Now we're just making sure we all know the story.
All right.
We nailed it.
So I'm just going to step out for a second and say, instead of me reading this text to them, the group shares what they do or don't know. Let's not assume people know what this is or variation, right? Now, because we've worked on beginning, middle, and end of story. We know there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. So in your groups, we're going to make 3 still pictures where everyone is involved. You might be a character, or as we've seen before in some of the still picture we've worked, you could be a thing, right? You could be an object that is essential to the story. So I'm going to give you a very brief amount of time to make me 3 pictures that tell the beginning, still picture, middle of the story, still picture, end of the story. All right? Literally, I'm going to give you 3 minutes. Go.
I feel like you being it. You're a little red. Who would like to be the wolf?
I'll be the wolf.
All right, you're the wolf.
The
Great.
wolf is hiding, watching you skip.
Great. I would like to be one of Little Red Riding's parents. Do we need? Yeah.
I think we should also have grandma in your house.
Grandma's got to be in your bed.
Great.
I can be grandma. I can be a parent.
We'll be parents. We'll be parents over here. Great. Will you be? Yeah. Will you be bringing? You're going to be out of the woods. This is an essential prop. Essential set piece.
And what is our objective?
I think we're just waving her off of her way. Yeah, like this. This is good. It's great.
And what's picture number 2?
Picture number 1, we nailed it. Picture number 2.
Today, number 2. Then
We're picture number 2 yet.
Dude, all good.
Yeah, you go again. I'll be smart. All right. There, 3.
Very good.
Couple of more minutes. 1.
I like that.
Essential middle.
Okay, middle.
The middle is the bears are gone. I think is our party. I think it's easier eating than it is to feed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a really good.
So someone's eating.
Should we still at the house or?
One is eating.
One is sitting, and one is sleeping.
Okay.
And then the rest of us.
And then the last one was
second picture.
Y'all make that house.
So do we read in the house?
Yeah, sure. And the wolf is like coming into you. And you're still a tree. And you're skipping away. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
That's our second picture. Great. Third picture.
Am I down on the floor? Or
I don't know. Well, we have the wolf. We need a woodcutter. I think you should be the woodcutter
Yeah,
since you've been kind of shafted for my own street so
I
far.
know, yeah.
From the tree of the woodcutter. How do we?
I think maybe we're still the house.
Yeah.
You're in the gullet of this wall.
Don't I get and grandma like are gonna cut out of the belly. Yeah.
Can we be the gullet? Can we be like make like a stomach and then the two of you are like in the window of the stomach?
Make a window. You're in the window.
So like we'll do this and we'll be the window. You could be like and then there's a
sit aside.
yeah over here is the real world.
You get your ass and you're gonna cut me.
Can you have one hand like on your stomach?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Perfect.
We're so much better than kids at this.
They don't even know what a gullet is.
Yes, quick rehearsal.
All right. Now we're going to do, because you're almost there, we're going to do what I call a Tower of Babel rehearsal. So we're at simultaneous rehearsal. I'm going to call 1, 2, 3, picture. Then change. I'll do 3, 2, 1 till you get to the second picture. And then 3, 2, 1. So we're just practicing. We know what we need. We have everything. Transition between 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you ready?
I'm sorry, what do you call that?
Tower of Babel.
Tower of Babel. Everybody's talking. There's a lot of noise. Nobody's looking at nothing. We're just like loud.
Yeah.
All right. Ready for a picture and 1, 2, 3, picture. And relax. Transition to the next one. 3, 2, 1. Picture. Oh, there's some drama going on. I love this. And then relax. 3, 2, 1. Final picture. Okay, and relax. All right. So it's like this. That's very fast. Y'all are tall people, so you got through it. But you can see where you can develop this. Yeah. The next steps would be adding sound, or maybe this is all we got to, y'all. And I have to do a show on Friday. And the show is, do we want it in front of parents and administrators and other kids? Or that, shall we do that one?
Yeah.
All right. So this is what I would do. I would have my class sit on stage. We would have been sitting in the chairs. We would have been sitting in the chairs in the order that they come up, right? And then they come back up, and then there's all a line, and I say, green 4, 5, have a seat. Have a seat.
Oh.
Have a seat. And I'd be looking at the audience, and they'd all be like, and I'd say, green 4, 5, are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't sound like you're ready. Green 4, 5, are you ready? Yeah! Audience, are you ready? Help me out, ready? 1, 2, 3. Audience, are you ready? Because we can't start until you're ready.
That's it?
Excellent. All right. So today we're going to show you 2 stories with no words. Some of you might know these stories. If you know these stories, as an audience member, you could be like, but, right? But I'm going to ask you to use your eyes to see if you can pick out how we are using our bodies to tell these 2 stories. Because that's what we've been working on in theater. Telling stories with our bodies, making it so clear that even without words, you can understand. All right, you're all ready?
Yeah.
All right. So, group 1, stand up and take your places. Give them a round of applause, too. All right. Audience, we need your help for this. You're going to give us a 1, 2, 3 picture. Actors, you ready? Yeah. Audience, you ready? Yeah. And all together. 1, 2, 3, picture. So audience, just take a look. What you notice, what are their bodies doing? What are their bodies doing? This is the first picture because stories have beginning, middle, end. Now we're going to see the middle of the story. You ready? And relax. 3, 2, 1. Picture. Hold on a second, an audience. 1, 2, 3, picture. Oh, what do you notice the changes? See, their bodies are different. What's the same? What's different? You got, some of you are beginning to have idea. I see that. And we're going to relax. Let's all say that. Relax. And move into the last picture. When they're all ready, we're all going to give them a 1, 2, 3 picture. Do they look ready? And 1, 2, 3, picture. Oh, people know. If you think you know the story, just turn to your next door neighbor and tell them what the story is. Yeah, and give them a round of applause. What do we got? And do we have time? Do we want to do this one? Because we want to see.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, have a seat. Now, you all know what you need to do, right? So we say actors into place. That way they know they're ready to go. Actors into place. Let's all say that. Actors into place. And then we just double check. We say, actors, are you ready? Ready. That sounded a little weak, right? Let's try that again. Actors, are you ready? Ready. And then we have to ask you to make sure you're ready. So we say, audience, are you ready?
Ready.
Excellent. And to start off, we're going to give them a what? A 1, 2, 3 picture. So here we go. And 1, 2, 3, picture. Oh, so this is a brand new story we're telling with our bodies. So all audience, take a look. And again, if you guess it, I already hear people like, I know this. And we're going to say, relax. Let's all say that. Relax. Move into the next space. Okay, let's see if they're ready. Audience, do you think they're ready? All right, here we go. And 1, 2, 3, picture. Oh, do you see the changes? Did you notice the characters? Are they all people? Are there animals? Are there things in this? Yeah, because we're telling stories with our bodies. And relax. Let's all say that, relax. And the final picture to see if confirm whether or not you know the story or not. And last picture. And 1, 2, 3, picture. Oh. And relax. Give us all 3 rounds of applause. And after, we always need to take a bow because we did a great job. So could everybody stand up? And we're just making sure we're together. We're going to just hold our hands. And at the count of 3, we're going to go up and down. So give us a 1, 2, 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Up and down. And give us some applause. And after just like you came in, back place into your chairs. So that's the performance. Yes.
Funny to guess her story?
Yeah, we already yelled it out. I mean, is it?
We did?
What's the story?
No, right.
The unknown audience. Yeah. So what do we hear? What do we see?
What
was the story?
Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah. With a variation of the tummy. Yeah. And over here, what did you see?
Goldilocks.
Yeah, nice. And so part of the process is refining those stories so that they're very, very clear by setting everybody up, look in the class, looking, going, I see a dog. And like, there's no dog. Well, then our bodies have to be clearer. So the theater skills are being very, very clear in developing that. Yeah? That's a performance. So that's one version of a performance, and all my mouthiness about how that's my personal style of engaging the audience and making them participants. And holding space and energy for the young people because it's really hard being on stage. Cool.
I think in the interest of time, I'll just kind of briefly chat about how I might frame Zip Zap Zop's performance because I want us to be able to talk and do things. But what I would do and what I often find is that like in District 75, the class is moving they're staying together. They have the same teacher all day. They're coming to us for like their cluster time. A lot of times I will have teachers who are like, how do you do theater? Or like with our students, whatever. And the teacher wants to come in and see something. So maybe I have their teacher. Maybe I have parents, like I teach on Saturdays sometimes. So like I'll have parents in the room. We're like bringing parents in. So I would frame it as, especially if it's toward the end of the year and we've learned all the different versions, which version of Zip Zap Zop would we like to show today? We want to show it with the ball, or we want to show it with their voices. And then I would have the students call out, what skills do Zip Zap Zop teach? Let's repeat that what skills did we learn as we've been playing Zip Zap Zop? Anybody call?
Listening.
So having the students share that, a way to modify that with my population might be having a device prepared that they could pick, or they could show the picture symbol of what it is if calling out is not where they're at. And then playing the game, showing the game, I might stop and step back and be like, this is what we're showing, this is what we're doing. And then inviting the guests, okay, let's have Mr. So-and-so come on up, and students, can we teach them the game? And bringing them right into it, especially with something like a game, which is not necessarily like performance showy, it's participation. So just inviting the guests, we learned it, you can learn it too, and we can teach it to you. And that's one way that I've done that and shared that.
And I love that's a second level of skill sets that you're adding, where the young people are now communicating and instructing. It's fine to do the game, but can you explain it? Can you lead it? Wow, that's the next step.
And that's like kind of like for, classroom teachers, like that's kind of like the next level of like higher order thinking, questioning. That's not exactly a question but I guess it is in a sense, and that's what they're looking for if they're coming in and observing us, like how are students then taking what you've learned and applying it in a higher order way. That's exactly it. They've learned the game, they've mastered the game, they can show the game, but can they help show somebody else the game? Can they take it and apply it elsewhere?
And I'll just add on with my 8th graders. So I teach middle school, and I teach all the kids all 3 years, which is a lot. So by 8th grade, they're kind of tired of me, but I'm also like, okay, so how can we harness what you've been doing over the past 3 years? And my first unit at the beginning of the year in 8th grade is I call it a theater games unit. I'm like, all we're going to do this unit is play games, and it's going to be really fun, but you guys have to be the ones leading the games. And I have them start in groups. Every group works on a game. They lead the class through a game, and then they move into an individual project. So every student or pair of students becomes an expert on one game that we've done in class over their past 2 full years in drama. And in becoming an expert in it, they not only have to be able to lead the class through it, they have to come up with their own level up. Like if I were going to add a level onto this game, what would it be? And then facilitate that with the class. They have to think, if I were going to give my classmates ownership of this game and step back myself as a facilitator, how would I do that? They lead the class through the different skills that it develops and how that can be applied in drama class. So I frame it as, we're going to play games for 6 weeks and it's going to be really fun, but you guys are in charge. You have to take ownership. These games are yours, and it becomes, their space to lead their classmates in that.
Question.
Yeah.
Are you giving that kind of ownership to your 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, or just your 8th graders?
That unit specifically I do only with 8th graders. In 7th grade and 6th grade, it looks a little bit different, right? So it's more structured, but there's a lot of choice within what they do. In 7th grade, once they've learned all the foundations, they get to choose. Do I want to be a director? Do I want to be an actor? Do I want to be a designer? In these different projects that we do. So I try to kind of scaffold it up to that.
See, thank you all. A quick informal poll, because we've got limited time left. Do we want to talk about other options of the performance, not a theater thing? Or are we thinking, yes, we'd love to do this, but oh my goodness, how do I talk to my administrator about this? What's my pitch? Because we've got 2 ideas.
And we have 10 minutes.
We'll just be able to present this to administrators' calendar.
Sweet. Yeah. So here's the question I'm going to ask. If you're interested in doing this, so a variation of this, just raise your hand. Cool. If you think your admin would be like, what you doing? And you would like some support in figuring out how to work with your admin and move them off it, just raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to bring these 3 here, just 3 here. Just stand here. And I'm going to ask you all to just split yourself up, because you're going to be the coach for these 3 people. So you 3 people can join here, and here, and here. Yeah, just turn to them and say, "Hi, buds. I have this great idea."
Hello.
Yeah. Okay. And what we're going to invite you to do is in your group, help this person come up with the 3-line email or opening conversation that you're going to share with your admin. And you might need to give some background to what some of the barriers are, because we can stop ourselves. But they're going to be your coaches to come up with those lines. We'll give you a little index card so you can help each other. You need to sit down and you do that, yeah?
All right. Let's sit.
So what's your idea?
Other schools.
You want to switch schools? I'll take your productions.
Another.
Oh, sure. And I didn't even want, so I wanted, I would do 75, so I have every student in every shift. So, and the structure that the theater teacher before he did, is they had, for the winter show, there's all the music students, all the dance students, and all the theater students performed in our winter show. And it was a full show that the theater teacher wrote and directed, and then like the dance had dances, the music classes had music performances. Hundreds of kids in the show that we have to get done by December.
No.
So us as a quad was like, we can't keep doing, it's too much. How can we simplify this December show so that we can do more, like cooler stuff in the spring? And so I was like, is there any way we could do a showcase or a talent show? And he was like, no other schools do a winter show, so it has to be a full show. But I used to do full shows, but they weren't scripted.
Do you imagine in your head this would, like, there's a couple like production things that happen. Do you imagine all of them go away, or do you imagine like this replaces one of them, or what do you imagine?
I would imagine that like instead of having like a spring concert and a musical in the spring, like I would love for this to, kind of replace like the concert. Everybody, but it was.
I mean, it seems like in my head the coolest part of it is the like leadership opportunity for the fifth and kindergarten. I feel like you can talk about that, and you could pitch this like have found this really cool thing we could do that I think would be a great opportunity, like build community. Like, I feel like, what do you think would happen if that was an email that your administration got?
I think it would totally be like down for
because you already have the technology and the framework of a proscenium style stage, right? So long as you have the location and access to the technology, it's going to be a fight, right?
True.
In a way, like, you can explain to her, like, actually this year what we're trying to do is, like, we know at our school we make great products, so now this idea is to really investigate the steps it takes to make the product, right? To make that part of the learning process, because she's trying to get these kids to accelerate, right? So she also, if they want to accelerate, they need to be able to know, like she said, like how to do it and be able to say how they're doing the things that they're doing, right? So the product that the kids are sharing, have them explain to the adults what it is that they're doing. Explain to their audience. We have a bunch of nursery rhymes, and so we made, short scenes for each of those. Have them explain that in part of the product.
No, that's true. Getting more of that element of them sharing their thoughts, their feelings, process what they think.
Thoughts and feelings, but also like we really wanted to work on distribution, so we picked this song and blah blah, like have them use the vocabulary and like sound very middle school, like And when you exactly when you say like student choice, and it's like it's harder for them to say no when you come in and say, well, the kids chose this or the kids were so I think I'll help you. I think so. Like,
I also am wondering when you're imagining doing the show. Like, are you thinking, like, right now I have a winter concert, a this, a that, or the third, and I want to put it in the months there isn't something, or I want to replace? Which are you thinking?
Yeah, well, I mean, my primary position is as a chorus director of grade 2, orchestra director of grade 3 to 5. So we always have a winter and spring concert. It'd be nice to plot this a little more in the middle. We just finished Nemo this past weekend, and next week we have a spring concert. Boom, boom, a lot of the things, you know. But yeah, I was thinking maybe around March, well,
Let's all say that. One more time. Nobody wants to stop. What's going on? Stop being engaged. Stop helping each other. Silly teachers. So I'm going to be the principal, and I'm going to come to the lunch meeting that you all had, and you're going to, somebody's going to just offer what their idea is, because it's June right now, and September is coming up, and you've got a whole summer to plan, and this is what you want to think about, right? And I'm going to invite you to just listen to what the individual groups say. Are there any notes, or are there any thoughts that I popped up? So, who's my theater teacher over here is going to, okay. So, hey, everybody. Now, that looks good for lunch. What's up? You want me to drop by?
Ate it myself.
Yeah.
There we go. Yes, so we were thinking as alternatives to doing a full-scale production, and maybe to show some little products along the way in the process. So perhaps an isolated song here, teaching a concept like syncopation here. This is something we were working on with our kids, because last year's production, they had some difficulty with this. So maybe that could be one thing. We would like to be able to show a story in a tableau type of fashion with our bodies, a beginning, a middle, and end. And not only to show these things, but also to have students step up and explain their thoughts, their feelings, and why they're doing this to the parents.
Would you focus it on a show? Like I'm thinking, because if we did like Beauty and the Beast was so good this year. So you're saying instead of doing like a full out production, you maybe would do one song and tell the story through still pictures?
Right. I think I would use isolated, maybe 3 different shows, to isolate skills there, to give the kids also a little basis for that. And maybe we could kind of tease the idea of doing a full show next year, one of those 3.
So you're kind of like doing a 2-year show.
Yeah.
Let me think about it, but that's interesting.
Thank you.
I have to think about how the parents are going to think about it.
Yeah, we have 1 minute.
Oh, hey there.
Hi. We are arts is our idea is a winter arts review. So all the arts, the music, dance, theater get to each class, every class that has it gets to share a snippet of what they've learned or a skill they've built so far. And we want to tie it into how that attaches to their goals. What IEP goals are they learning in that activity or that skill? So each class, it won't necessarily be like a through line of a whole story, but each class is sharing a moment of something they've learned. And it'll all go together in a big, beautiful event.
And we technically are at time, not to be.
We've got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. We'll go by that.
Okay. Yes. I probably want a little more detail from everybody, just because I like how people see that. But yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. What?
So we were thinking instead of having a spring concert and a spring musical back to back, what if instead of a spring concert, we worked in class with the 5th graders to create a piece of sensory theater for our kindergartners, right? There isn't a lot of professional sensory theater for them out there right now coming into school anyways. So what if we work with the fifth graders to create theater for the younger students? It will build community between those two grades. It'll foster leadership with the fifth graders, and also it will give the fifth graders to explore their own creativity and create a story of their own. And it also won't stress everybody out as much having to do 2 productions in the auditorium, which, as we know, can get a little stressful.
Yeah, I thought that was a challenge this year. I want more details, but yeah, that's interesting. I like the idea of using the work in collaboration with all the other young people. Oh, and pause. Don't die. We are at time, but I just want to say thank you all for your thoughts and energy. I hope it's
Hopefully some ideas.
something is percolating.
brewing. And our emails are up there, so if you would like to reach out or chat about anything, we'd be happy to.
We also threw up some resources. I love me some improvisation with favorite tales. That's a great resource for working and blowing up folk tales and fairy tales. There's an amazing book called Devising Young People New Theater, full of cross-pollinating activities and devising strategies and sessions, just reminding us of our history of theater, the Federal Theater Project and its Living Theater program. Right, and moving it to the really out there with Augusto Boal's newspaper theater. They're connected, but just think about what's happening with older grades and what's happening in our communities. What a great place to research. Leah's going to give us 5 seconds on.
Yeah, and I have an activity that I do that's adapted from something I found on the Royal Shakespeare Company's resources that I do with my 7th graders surrounding Macbeth and performing the entire plot of Macbeth from beginning to end in 20 minutes. If you want more information about that, I also have the resources that I use, so I'm happy to share those with you on your way out today.
Whoosh.
Whoosh.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Give yourself a round of applause for the nice work you've done. Thank you, everybody.
Elise, on it.